The crystalline dome of Section 7 housed the most controversial exhibit in the Galactic Zoological Gardens, the Deathworld predator's wing. Thousands of species from across the spiral arm came to observe the terrifying creatures from the most hostile planets in known space, worlds where survival itself was considered an evolutionary miracle. Among the exhibits featuring acid-spitting Krellians and the six-legged hunters of Vexor Prime, one particular enclosure drew the largest crowds. A simple placard beside the reinforced viewing glass read, Homo sapiens, origin, Earth, Class 12 Deathworld. Inside the habitat, designed to mimic what xenobiologists called a temperate forest environment, a small human girl named Maya sat cross-legged on the grass, weaving flowers into a chain. She was 7 years old by Earth standards, with dark braided hair and a yellow sundress that seemed absurdly peaceful given her classification as an apex predator. The viewing gallery buzzed with nervous excitement. Families of Zephyrians, delicate, crystalline beings who communicated through light pulses, kept a respectful distance from the glass. A cluster of Bolvari, resembling upright caterpillars in environmental suits, whispered among themselves about the creature's bone density and internal skeleton, both considered grotesque adaptations for extreme gravity. "Mama, is it true they can survive almost anywhere?" A young Zephyrian child pulsed in worried yellow light. "Hush, Krelix, don't let it hear your fear," the mother replied, her colors shifting to protective amber. But one visitor wasn't afraid. Zix, a small Quellan child with large, curious eyes and 4 delicate arms, pressed closer to the glass than his guardian thought wise. Quellans were a peaceful species from a low-gravity moon where the greatest danger was occasionally inclement weather. To Zix, every creature in this section seemed like something from a nightmare, except this one. The human girl looked soft, almost fragile. She was humming something melodic as she worked on her flower chain, occasionally pausing to watch a simulated butterfly flutter past. How could this small, seemingly defenseless creature be classified in the same danger category as the Krellians? "Guardian Tella," Zix said, his translator converting his whistling speech into galactic standard. "That one doesn't look scary." Tella, an older Quellan with silvery markings denoting his status as an academic, rippled with concern. "Appearances can be deceiving, young one. Humans are perhaps the most successful predatory species in the known galaxy. They come from a world with crushing gravity, extreme temperature variations, aggressive microbial life, and megafauna that would terrify even the Krellians." "But she's making flowers pretty," Zix protested. As if sensing their conversation, Maya looked up from her work and made eye contact with Zix. Most of the crowd recoiled. Direct eye contact with a predator was considered a threat display among most species. But Maya simply smiled, a gesture that Zix's database informed him was a human expression of friendliness. She stood up, brushing grass from her dress, and walked toward the glass. The crowd collectively stepped back. Even Tella's appendages tensed, but Maya simply placed her small hand against the transparent barrier and tilted her head, examining Zix with open curiosity. Zix, driven by the fearless curiosity of youth, approached the glass and placed one of his 4 hands opposite hers. Up close, he could see details the crowd couldn't: the efficient musculature beneath her skin, the binocular vision of her forward-facing eyes, a predatory trait, the opposable thumbs that could manipulate tools with terrifying precision. "Hello," Maya said, her voice translated into galactic standard by the exhibit systems. "I'm Maya. What's your name?" "I'm Zix," he whistled back, the translator handling the exchange. "Are you really dangerous?" Maya laughed, a sound like musical chimes. "My dad says I'm only dangerous when I don't get my afternoon snack." She held up her flower chain. "Do you like my necklace? I made it for my mom." This wasn't what Zix expected. The information placard described persistence hunting, endurance running, and something called pattern recognition, that made humans terrifyingly effective at tracking prey across any terrain. It mentioned their ability to survive on an impossibly wide variety of food sources and their talent for creating weapons from virtually any material. But it said nothing about flower chains. "Where did you come from?" Zix asked, the question emerging before he could stop it. "Why are you here?" Maya's smile faltered slightly. "I'm from Earth. It's really far away. I came here with my parents. They're xenoanthropologists studying other species. But then," she paused, looking uncertain for the first time. "Then the zoo people said that because I'm from a Class 12 world, I needed to stay in protective custody. They said the station's environment might be dangerous for other species if I was just walking around. Something about contamination protocols and liability." "But you're just a kid," Zix protested. "I know," Maya's eyes brightened with validation. "That's what I told them. But they showed my parents all these videos of humans accidentally hurting people because we don't know our own strength, or eating food that's toxic to other species without realizing, or," she trailed off. "They said it was safer this way. My parents visit every day, though." Guardian Tella had moved closer, listening to the exchange. His academic interest was piqued. "Young human," he addressed Maya formally, "is it true your species evolved on a planet where the weather itself can be lethal, where the very ground occasionally splits open and spews molten rock?" Maya nodded enthusiastically. "Oh yeah, we have earthquakes and volcanoes and hurricanes and tornadoes. My grandma lives in California and she says you get used to the earthquakes. We have drills at school for them." A ripple of horror went through the crowd. Drills. They prepared their children for planetary catastrophes. "And the creatures," another voice called from the crowd, a Bolvari researcher. "The megafauna. Is it true you share your world with creatures that weigh over 100 metric tons?" "You mean whales?" Maya asked. "They're not dangerous though, they're really gentle. We swim with them sometimes." "Well, some people do. I haven't yet, but I want to," she thought for a moment. "Oh, but we do have to watch out for sharks and bears and lions and stuff. And spiders, some of them are venomous, and snakes, and jellyfish, and—" The crowd was backing away now, several species looking faint at the casual recitation of Earth's dangers. "But most of them leave you alone if you leave them alone," Maya added quickly, sensing the distress. "Earth is actually really beautiful. We have forests and oceans and mountains and deserts. The sunsets are amazing. Our sun is yellow, so everything gets all gold and pink and orange. And the moon, we have a really big moon that lights up the whole night. Sometimes I miss it." Her voice had grown wistful, and Zix noticed something the crowd's fear had prevented them from seeing. Maya looked lonely. She was surrounded by stimulated nature, but it was all artificial. There were no other children in her habitat, no playmates, no family. "Do you want to be here?" Zix asked quietly. Maya's eyes met his, and for a moment he saw something that transcended species, a child who wanted to go home. "I want my parents to finish their research so we can go back to Earth, but they say it might be years. By then," she gestured around her artificial habitat, "this will be all I remember." An alarm chimed softly, feeding time. A panel opened in Maya's habitat, and a servitor drone delivered a carefully prepared meal on a tray. The crowd watched in fascinated horror as Maya ate, demonstrating the omnivorous diet that allowed humans to survive virtually anywhere, the efficient tearing incisors that marked them as predators, the grinding molars that supplemented their diet with vegetation. But Zix noticed she ate politely, using utensils, occasionally wiping her mouth with a napkin. She caught him watching and waved. Guardian Tella placed a gentle appendage on Zix's back. "Come, young one, we should move on to the other exhibits." "But Guardian, she's alone," Zix protested. "Can't someone stay with her, play with her?" "The safety protocols are very strict," Tella explained sadly. "Humans don't know their own strength. A playful push from her could shatter a Zephyrian. A hug could crack a Quellen's carapace. Even her immune system carries microorganisms that could devastate entire species. That's not fair, Zix said, and for the first time, Guardian Tella heard real distress in his ward's voice. She didn't choose to be from a death world. She didn't choose to be strong and dangerous. She's just a kid who wants to play and make flower chains and see her parents. The old academic was quiet for a moment. You're right, young one, it isn't fair. But fairness is a luxury of peaceful worlds. On death worlds, there is only survival. As they moved away from the exhibit, Zix looked back one more time. Maya had returned to her flower chains, but she'd placed the completed one carefully near the glass where he'd been standing. A gift she couldn't give, for a friend she couldn't have. Guardian, Zix said as they walked toward the exit, when I grow up, I want to help change the rules, so kids like her don't have to be alone. Tella's colors shifted to approving blue. That, young Zix, would be a worthy aspiration indeed. Behind them, Maya continued her lonely play in a cage designed for predators, dreaming of a yellow sun and a home among the flowers of a world so dangerous that other species called it hell, but that she simply called home.